Hello, and how are you? My name is Mahindra Barak, and I welcome you to this other lecture of learning how to make mobile applications using Flutter. So I hope you've been following. If you have not been following, I recommend you to watch our previous videos so you can also be on the same level with us. So without wasting much time, I'm going to take it straight from where we stopped at in the previous classes, and then we see how we can learn more things. So if you still remember, in the previous class, we were looking at the form builder, and we were able to install the package, and we were able to get started with the package of the form builder. We were able to create these fields that you're seeing here, and we were specifically looking at how we can style information, the field of the form builder. So in this class, we're going to proceed from there and see still how we can finish the remaining parameters that are input decoration, and then if time allows, we'll proceed to other types of the inputs of form builders, and again, if time allows, we'll go ahead and work on validation. With that much said, so let's go straight and see how we can manage these inputs of form builder. So that's it. So yesterday, the previous class, we were able to to do this using this decoration, okay, input decoration. So we looked at is dense. We say that is dense will make your input to be as minimal as possible, or if you make it false, if you make it true, it will be as minimal as possible, and if you make it false, it will be what? It will be huge, or it will be large. That's what is meant by what? By is dense. Okay. So right now we're going to proceed from there. So I'll go ahead and click on this input decoration, and we proceed with with more parameters that it accepts. So in the previous class, we had stopped at this parameter of is dense. So we have this one of content padding. Just it in case you want to pad the content inside the input. Then you have prefix icon. Prefix icon is the icon that begins, the beginning icon. Okay, so in case you want to put there an icon that begins, you can use this prefix icon. Of course, it may not be an icon, it may even be another kind of widget. So let's look at what's meant by a prefix icon. Just simply put prefix icon, and it does what? It accepts a widget. Okay, like this. So I can go ahead and say icon person. I think we already covered that, isn't it? So you say icon person, so to go ahead and put the icon at the beginning of your of your field here. That is the meaning of prefix icon. So this is different from icon. Icon, it will be outside, totally outside, and then if you remove this icon, for example, you'll see that this icon will be removed from here, but the prefix icon will be within the field but in front. So that is what is meant by prefix icon. Okay, you can use it in many ways. For example, instead of putting that, you can put, for example, text, and then maybe say you start with the country code, this is something like that, and then you put it there. So it will also be able to do what? To be displayed there. You see? So that's what I mean by what? By prefix icon. You can creatively use it in any way that you want. So, but literally prefix icon will be within the field, as we've seen. So proceed. So we have other thing, which is prefix constraints, icon constraint. Those are the reasons. Those are the conditions that we need to put on prefix icon. Then you have the prefix itself. So prefix is a widget, of course, also that will be at the beginning of of your content. Then you have also prefix text. In case you want to put the text at the beginning, you can also go ahead and put that prefix text here. So let's go ahead and try that prefix text. So I'll comment this and then put prefix text, and then this one will accept the what? I think it will accept text. Yeah, so that you want to put something like Mr. So prefix text will be able to do what? To do that. So if someone clicks here and try to edit, they'll have, you see, the word Mr. is there in the beginning. Okay, so this one will help, for example, in case you want to put at the beginning you want to put something that is elaborating or that is before the name, like 256, something like that, so someone can continue with their number. So you can use this one, what you call prefix text. So this one will appear when someone is trying to do what? Enter the information. So that is what's meant by what? By prefix text. So you can think creatively of how you can make use of it. Then you can style also prefix text. You can give it its color. You can also style the prefix icon. So all these things are almost self-explanatory. This one about the prefix. Then you come to the counter. So this counter is the widget that we may need to do what? To display the section of counter. So you can come here and say counter, and then here so counter is the one that can help you to do what? To display the information. For example, you want like to count the information, to count the field that someone is entering in. So you can use what? You can use that counter. You can see where the counter is placed. So you have counter itself and you have the counter what? Counter text. And then you can also style this counter. Then you have field. So field is also about the design that you may need to show in your what? In your widget. Let's say that you want it to be surrounded with the circle, and then you have to use what? You have to use field. So you see, that's it by what? By the field. Like everything will be kind of what? Kind of solid, as you can see. So you can go ahead and change the field color, in case you want another color of the one that is filling the circle, the field. You can go ahead and do what? And put your own field color. So that is field color. Then you have focus color. When someone focuses on your widget, what color do you want to show? You can also change it from here. Then you have hover color. When someone hovers on the widget, what color I want to show? And then you have error color. When there's an error in the widget, what do you need to show? That is error color. Then you have focused border. When someone is focused on the widget, what do you need to show? You can use also focused border. So you can also use disabled border. So in case you disable borders, you can go ahead and say, for example, disable border and put false. And put true. Sorry. That one is like the border for the disabled, okay? Then you have the border, that is the border itself, like when you want to put the border on the widget, you can go ahead and put the border. So if, for example, if I come here and say the border is equal to outline, and then I define outline border, input border, and then I define it like this, and then when I save, you'll see that I'll be able to have the border around my around my widget. Can you see? So that is how you put the border on your widget. Okay, so if I remove this icon, I hope you will have seen a design like this one before. Okay, you must have seen a design like this one before. So you see, I'll have that kind of that kind of an input. It is very nice. I hope you can see it. So with this disabling the border or putting the border in this size, in this style, it will be able to do what? To put the border. Of course, in case you want also the border to be there, you can as well format this border from here, the border siding. You can surround it with border if you want to. So if I want, for example, a prefix icon, I can go ahead and put an icon. So this icon will be within the what? Within the input or within the border inside. Okay, something like that. So if someone comes and click, and then you have our icon and prefix and there. So play with these things so you can understand what they can do and what they cannot do. So there's hint, I can align hint, etc. All of them they are what? All of them they are there. So now that is what we meant by what? By styling. So you can literally style this in any way that you want, depending on these different parameters that we've given you. So sit down and look at different challenges or different user inputs that are already there, like use widgets, and then try to do what? To challenge yourself and see if you can style them. So how you can do that, you can just simply come here like to internet and search mobile app input UI. I can say form input UI. So you do like this, then click on what? Click on images. Click on images here, and then you'll be able to see different examples of input user interfaces. Go ahead and challenge yourself and try to, can you see? Try to ask yourself whether you can do these things, okay? Try to ask yourself whether you can do this kind of inputs. So from challenging yourself, you'll be able to do what you see? This kind of an input, this kind of an input. So there are so many inputs, you see, there's this one. Can you do something like this? So you put this one in one row and put another one row and then try to make something exactly like this. Can you do it? So try to give yourself a challenge and see that you can achieve it. Can you do something like this? You see? Can you do something like this? Yeah? Challenge yourself, and from the challenging yourself, you'll be able to do what? To achieve or to come up with ideas and know things that you can possibly do and that you can't do. So there are so many challenges outside there about the inputs, okay? So go ahead and give yourself those challenges and see how you can achieve these very things using the what? Using the thing that we've just taught you. Can you see this? Hope you can see it. So go ahead and challenge yourself. So with that much said, let's go ahead and now proceed with our other types of input. So we've looked at text field, okay? So I'm going to proceed and come to our documentation, and then we're going to look at what we call the checkbox group builder, okay? Checkbox group, okay, of the form builder. That's what we're going to look at. So you can go ahead here and get it from examples if you want to. So first copy it here and then come and get it from example and see how you can do it. Still implementing. I think it's not there. All right, but you can still try it out, okay? So let's go ahead and implement that. Let us, we can as well do it from here. So I can duplicate this one and then come and put it there. Okay, of course, must have a name like that. So that is what? That is the checkbox input builder. All right, let me explain it. I think I don't know whether I should create another different screen, but we can still use this screen. Okay, let us use just this screen for what? For this form input thing. Okay, so this form builder checkbox group, it helps us to enable users to enter different, to select multiple things, and then we collect it. We collect that information. So that one is a form builder field option. That's what you give it as what? As options, and then you give value and what it should display. So you can see here, we've tried to create it by saying form builder checkbox group, and then we're giving different programming languages, okay? So if you want to go ahead and maybe style it, you can use the same styling that I've just demonstrated to you and style this one as well, okay? So for example, I can go ahead and say maybe label text. Okay, so I'll come here outside the options and give it what? And give it a declaration, for example, and say label text and put what language do you speak? Okay, something like that. Or which language do you write? Okay, so after doing that, then you can go ahead. You have this an input here, and then you can go ahead and collect this information from here. Okay. So that is the label for you. So since it's accepting input decoration, what does it mean? it means that you can as well style it in any way that you want. Okay. For example, I can go ahead and pass this, and you'll be able to see that will have almost the same one, the same kind of input here. I say is filled. Such is how you remove the border. So if I say it's filled and say true, it will also be kind of what? Kind of filled. I hope you can see that. Then you have what you call content padding etc. So I hope you can see that. All right, we can proceed to another input type. So another input type is the form builder chip. So this one creates chips like radio button. Okay, it's almost the same, but it creates for it in what? In form of a radio button. So let me go ahead and put here on top. All right, so let's see what options it accepts. It accepts form builder chip options, like this. All right, so that is it for you. So you can see I'm going to explain it. Let me remove this decoration. And also let me put here a separator. So this one, it is almost just like the one that you looked at, okay? But the difference between this one, it is making them in form of what? In form of chips, as you can see there, okay? So if in case you want a field that looks like that, instead of using this kind of checkbox, you can use this, what you call form builder choice chip. So it takes a form builder choice chip, and each choice chip will take it will take a value, and also if you want maybe to display the label in another way, let's say that the label is in another design, okay, it can also take what? Can also take what we call child, okay? So this child is the what? Is the text that you want to display to the user, just in case you want to. All right, so in case you want maybe to format this one to a different color or what, they give you control and you design that text in one way you want. However, it is optional to pass the what? The child. You can as well get rid of the child and just use the value itself. But let's say that you have a different value and you don't want the user to say a different thing, you can as well give it a child, and then you'll be able to do what? To see it like that. So it has something called an avatar. So an avatar is that front thing that you may need to check. Let's say that maybe you want to put T in front for cat, let's say. You can as well pass here like a text, and then you say C, something like that. So when you do like this, an avatar is that front thing that will be in front of it. I mean, this kind of, okay? So you can see, right? You can see that. So I can go ahead and maybe style my avatar and make it a container, and I give it a background color, and then so each avatar, it has some kind of design in front of it. So that's what that's what is made by what? By avatars. So you can go ahead and give it multiple chips option that you want. So right now you can see we have those options. So someone can go ahead and select the one that you want. So this one has also its own parameters. So if you want to come here and press Ctrl and space, you see its special parameters. So here they will give you alignment. Okay, alignment, how do you want to align them? So you can see if you want to center them, so all of them will be centered. Okay, like that. Okay, so if you want like space between, so that is cross alignment. I want to see if it has max alignment. Yeah, so that's it. So if you want space between them, you can use that one to create the space between what? Between these input fields. Hope you can see. Okay, so you can go ahead and so that's the alignment. So you can see how you use that alignment in a way that you want. Let's say another thing, it gets initial value. When it is changed, you can listen to it. You can also select the direction. For example, horizontal, they'll be in horizontal. So if you say vertical, they'll be arranged vertically. So if you put vertical, they'll be in what? In a vertical format, as you can see there. So it is up to you on how you want to do what, on how you want them to look like. So I hope you can see that. So there are also more things that you can pass here. You can give it an initial value. You can change the elevation. You can put the padding or the label padding on each item. And then you can listen to those listeners such as on reset and on saved. Okay, so you can change the shape. You can change the spacing. In case you want to space them, let's say that let's say that they're like this, like where they were before, and you need to space them. So you can pass the spacing parameter, and then you put the spacing that you want. So by default is 0, so they'll be kind of attached to each other. But if you want to space them, just pass the spacing parameter, and then give them the double value of the space that you want. So that one gives us the ability to do what? To have more control on what? On an input. So come here and press Ctrl space to be able to see more things that you can do what? That you can do with it. So alright, so with that much said, let's proceed to another input. So another input is the date range picker. So this one will enable you to do what? Collect the date, okay? To enable you to collect the date, okay? So let's go ahead and see how we can collect different dates in our system. So, I mean our mobile app. So go ahead and give it that, and then I'm going to put here sized box, and then give it height of 20. I want them to be spaced. That's what I'm putting, size box. So this date picker, it will last pick a date range, and then I'll give it the first date where it should start. I can also give it the last date where it should not go beyond. Okay, and then I go ahead and I put the format that I want. Okay, but this is what? This is optional. And then after, I can give it a decoration and I pass the label. Okay, so if I save, I'll have that kind of date picker that can allow us to pick the dates. See, so if I click on the pick date, to be able to launch for me what? Calendar, and I can be able to do what? To pick the range between a certain date and the what? And a certain date. So that is the what? The range picker. And when I finish, I go ahead and click on what? On save. And to be able to pick for me the range between two dates. Okay. So here is so you can limit. Let's say that you don't want maybe between less than a certain date and less than a certain date. I mean, or greater than a certain date. So you can put those ranges from here, or can put the first date and then the what? The last date, in which it should not go beyond. So that is the range picker. You can go ahead and look at more parameters that you can take. You can check the maximum line, you can check the text alignment. Let's say that you want them to be centered, you can go ahead and put their center. So it means that the text there will be what? Will be centered. Text alignment doesn't work here. So press Ctrl space and see more parameters. It can take an initial value, it can take the unchanged, it can take the text direction. So all that will do what is allowed by this what? By the date range picker. So the whole point is the date range picker will allow us to pick the date in the range. Let's say maybe we want to say the beginning date and the ending date. So you can go ahead and use this date range picker to collect those two dates. Okay. So another thing, that is the date range picker. Another thing, now we have the date picker. So in simple terms, this one picks a range of dates, or it picks a period between, it picks a period or the time between two different dates. So I begin with the beginning date and then the end date. You can as well change the the calendar by just picking from it like this. So when you press OK, you'll be able to do what? To get that date. So now come to this is the range picker. So we have now the date picker itself. Now the one that picks the date. It can either be used to pick the date only, it can be used to pick the time, and it can also be used to pick the time and the date in the same time. So that is the date time picker. This one the date time range. The date range picker. This one the date time picker. So let's go ahead and see how we can make use of it. So we just simply come here and then put it and then open and then put a comma here and then go ahead, press Alt and Enter to be imported. Right. So this one is the date input picker. This one will be used only to pick the date, and then it will be accepting the input and then the decoration. Okay, so this is the decoration, and then also the initial value. Okay, so you can also put the minimum date. Yeah, it should not go less than 2. So when I click here, this one will, as you have said, it should only pick the date. Can you see? Input type, I'm saying date. So does it mean this one only pick the date or this type of a field? Okay, like this. So it will only be able to do what? To pick the date. So we can also, this one can also be used for another thing, which is the time. So you can put here input type and then put what? Time. So if you put time, it will allow you to pick the time, of course. Okay, so when I click here, instead of launching for me the calendar, it will launch for me the what? The time picker. So you see, wait, let me cancel, and I click here, it will launch for me the what? The watch or the time picker. So I can either use here, or I can pick from the watch, or I can as well use the keyboard, and then I put the date and the time, and then I save. So that is the what? The time picker. Okay, so it can also use to pick both date, time, something like that, date and time, like this. So if you put the input type to be date, I think put that both. If you put both and save, it will be able to do us to pick for you the date and time in the same time. So then I click on picker to allow me to pick the what? The date, and then I press OK. I will pick the what? The time. And then say press OK, and then you'll be able to see that I'm able to pick the date and what? And time in the same field. Okay, so that is when you pass the both. So you'll find that this package is really helping us not to do a lot of things. Not write to do a lot of, write a lot of code to do a few things. Okay, so that is when you need to pick the what? The date both. Both time and date. So it can pick either time, it can pick date, or it can pick both of them by the use of passing here different items. Okay, different parameters. Okay. So that is the date time picker for you. Then you have this one called form builder dropdown. So this one is the one that enables us to do what? To have the dropdowns. Let me go ahead and put here the spacer sized box of 20, and then I'll come here and put this what we call the dropdown. It enables us to have the dropdowns. Okay, so when I do like that, and then I pass it drop down, I'll be able to form builder drop down. So the first thing that you'll take, of course, it is a name. And then I can give it a decoration. And then it will also take another item called what? Items. So items is the value of what? Of drop downs. So these drop downs, they can be there'll be drop down menu item like this. Okay, so drop down menu items, you can take child and the what and the value, child and the value, child and the value, and it can be like this. Okay, so that is what meant by that's what meant by the form builder drop down. Okay, so when I click on drop down, I'll be able to do what? To select whatever I want. Let's say blue, and then to have blue. If I want orange, to have orange. So that is what meant by drop down. I believe you already know this drop down. So you already have idea of what a drop down can do. So you can go ahead and implement it in Flutter using this way, okay, or in this kind of way. So we can proceed. That is the drop down. In future, I will show you how you can do also the dynamic drop downs. So we have filter chip. Let's go ahead and implement this one and also look at it. So I hope you can see that is a filter chip. It takes options of form builder chip options, and this is it. So this one is much more like this, but for this one, you pick only one. This one is a radio, but this one, you can have multiple items selected. So let us wrap this column to be scrollable. To do that, I'm going to surround it with the widget. And then after surrounding this with the widget, I'll go ahead and put what we call single scroll view. Single child scroll view. So by doing like that, you should not have this error. Now this column should be what? Should be scrollable. Yeah, so that is the filter. Okay, the form builder filter chip. So let's look at another one, and that is form builder radio group. Used to select one value from the list. That is radio group. It's almost much more like filter chip, but for this one it should be having a different what? User interface of a radio format. Yeah. So wait for my emulator is compiling my IDE, my Android Studio, so let's wait for it to finish. Oh, it is staying too long. I don't know if I should restart it. My Android Studio has frozen. I'm trying to. Let me just restart it. All right, my Android Studio has misbehaved. I think that can make it for today's class. So go ahead and try by yourself. These things, I've finished the drop down, try by yourself the filter chip, I've finished it, the radio, try yourself by yourself this one, the range slide picker, and then the switch, this one I've already finished. So there are 3 things that you need to try by yourself. Of course, I have not to spoon feed you everything. So make sure that you understand all of them and how you can make use of them. So in the next class, we will have to take it from there, whereby we will look at now how you can validate. So there's another package for validation. It's also from the same providers of this form builder. So in that package of validation, you're going to use it on how we can validate all kind of fields with different varieties of what? Of validation. So we'll do that in the next class, and I hope you will not miss. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you're always part of the classes when you do what, when you publish. So let's meet in the next next class and we look at the form validation. However, before you proceed to next class, make sure that you do it, that you understand each and everything that we have discussed in these previous classes. So you shouldn't really left what? You shouldn't leave behind. All right, goodbye and see you.